Tesla stock has fallen to multi-year lows. I actually predicted this in the previous video, but now that the stock has literally crashed and burned, where do we go from here? Does the stock have more pain or is it time to buy? I'm gonna break all that down right here in this video. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, Power Traders. I'm stock market coach and option trader Jason Brown. And remember, you never go broke taking a profit. Now, if you've been following that mindset, most people should have probably sold their Tesla a long time ago. We'll look at the chart and we'll show you why and how we probably could have predicted that it was time to get out of the stock. But for now, the stock is crashing, literally burning, kind of like those videos where you see a Tesla car catch on fire. Not funny, okay? But literally the stock is crashing and burning. I predicted in the previous video that Tesla would crash down to about 120, and my prediction was right. It crashed to about 120. It actually broke 120, but now that it's broken 120, what do we do with the stock and where do we go from here? Well, first, let's look at some of the news headlines surrounding Tesla, because in order for the selling to stop, the news needs to stop. And I believe once the news stop, we may have a Megatron of a run in the stock. But let's look at some of the news that's surrounding the stock and let's just break each one of them down. Okay, so news thing number one, it says WEBULL loses some faith in Tesla due to demand and cracks and leadership void. So what's happening here is that not just WEBULL, but a lot of people are losing faith in Tesla due to a demand slowdown due to the Feds raising interest rates. Now, Elon Musk and Tesla can't control that, but the fact of the matter is that most people don't have cash to pay for these cars. And so as you start to buy these cars, you're going to pay a higher interest rate for these cars, and which means it costs more money for the car. And then with supply chain issues, as well as with inflation, they're raising their prices on some of the models or for extended batteries and stuff like that. So it costs more to buy a car, or maybe the model that you want, and it costs more to finance the car and the model that you want. Those are two recipes for a slowdown in demand. The second thing, as WEBULL says, there is a crack in leadership or leadership void. The problem here with the whole leadership void thing is that Elon Musk obviously made a big bet on buying Twitter. But if you think about it, it's kind of like Apple going to buy BlackBerry or some inferior product and then putting all their time and their energy into BlackBerry. It's like, who owns a BlackBerry anymore? Like, nobody carries a BlackBerry phone. So if Apple left their pride and joy, the iPhone, the Mac computer system, and just went and said, we're going to revive the BlackBerry, we're going to make it the best smartphone ever, people would be like, okay, have they lost their mind? They're taking their eye off their baby, their billion-dollar empire or their multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar industry, and they're over here playing with BlackBerry? And so you could understand how people would be like, what is Elon Musk doing? And so that's causing some panic in the leadership. And while leadership may be appearing to be absent, people want to be absent the stock and sell their shares. Now, the second thing that is plaguing the company, let's take a look at this, is that Tesla reduced their production in Shanghai. And so if they're cutting back on production, that could be a sign that demand is slowing down, or if it's due to any type of COVID lockdowns or different things like that. Tesla stock got me all choked up. Or even if it's due to any of the demand issues, or let's say there isn't a demand issue, but it's due to COVID or can't find workers and different things like that. There's this fear that they won't be able to make the demand because one of their main production plants is shut down, which means even if the demand is there, they can't fulfill it, which means they may miss their quarterly earnings. That is another fear or issue that people are worried about with EV. And then let's take a look at two more news issues and then we'll dive into the charts. So Tesla tumbles to multi-year low, declines leading EVs. But if you look right here, you can see adding the sector pressure was the adverse delivery outlook from NIO. So NIO is another electric car manufacturer, and they signaled that there may be trouble for demand in the Chinese market. Well, Tesla's Chinese market accounts for about 25% of their sales. So if demand is slowing down there, 25% of their business could be in trouble. That is a high percentage issue right there. And then Kathy Woods is buying some more Tesla stock, but who cares about Kathy because she's losing money. Now, let's take a look at the chart. All right, so here we are taking a look at the Tesla stock chart. Let's just talk about why you never go broke taking a profit. Let's take all of these lines off. And here's what I want you to pay attention to. Tesla showed you at least about 3 times that it was building some sort of a top. And you can see right here, it ran up, hit this top. And this is the pre-split level. So remember, it did the 3-for-1 split. So this was when it was at $1,200. Now it's at $404. But you times that by 3, you get the pre-split price, which was $1,200. Ran up again, hit that level, sold off. Ran up again, hit that level, sold off. This time didn't quite make it back up to there. This is why I teach that reading the charts are super important, because if you were paying attention to that, you would have taken a profit. And guess what? You never go broke taking a profit. Now, all these people that held on to Tesla, this is a classic case of people doing what? People watch the stock go all the way up. And we talk about this in our course and our programs with our members. And we're talking about it with you here on YouTube. Don't make this mistake. Watching the stock go all the way up and using the excuse that it's a good company, and then watching it come all the way down past where people bought it when it was quote unquote a good deal. No stock is a good stock forever. Well, I shouldn't say no stock, but majority of the times it's best to get in during the glory days, take your profit and move on. So now that Tesla has dropped, how could we have predicted where it was going to go? Well, the first level of support was right here. And so once Tesla broke this support level on this day, this is where most people should have taken possibly a small loss. And you could have got back in the stock once it moved back above the level where we got out at. So you could have got back in here and rode it back up. But again, once it did that, what did it do? Once again, it brought the 1, 2, 3 tap back. 1, 2, 3. Where have we seen this before? 1, 2, 3. We see the new resistance level and what used to be support where it bounced, broke back above here and bounced. Look at this. Look at this. This is where technical analysis can save your life. It bounced there. It bounced there. It bounced there technically. It bounced here. And here it broke. So we take a loss. We get back in. Over here, it broke again. And when it broke, that is where most Tesla traders should have taken a small loss. Now, when it fell, you can keep going with these technical levels that it builds. Here's the new next technical level that it built. And you can see the support and you can see the resistance. Let's just continue down here. So my analysis was that Tesla would fall down to about 120, which 120 is right here. Here's why I thought it would fall to 120. I'm looking way back over here at this support level right here, sort of in this area. And I said, okay, we probably get a bounce about right there. So we are technically right around that level. Now it did slice through it. You can see right here, it did slice through it and fall. But today we're getting a little bit of a pause in the action. And I believe it's possibly, we'll see if it stops and turns around right there. One of the issues is new news keeps coming out. So once the news stops, I think things will be okay for the company. Number one, once Elon Musk finds a CEO for Twitter, I think the stock will turn around. Number two, once we get through the Shanghai shutdown and any COVID issues in China, I think that'll be old news. We can resume back to business as normal. Problem is, we don't know when that's going to happen. Number three, you also got end of the year tax season selling. So if you've been in Tesla and you're losing money, most people are probably like, I can dump my shares, claim the tax loss for this year, or offset any other gains that I've had this year, not have to pay as much in taxes. then as long as the stock doesn't rally in the next 30 days because you can't buy the same amount of shares back within 30 days or it'd be considered a wash sale, as long as the stock doesn't rally within 30 days, I'll jump back in and then I'll try to catch the stock back up because long-term electric vehicles are the future. So I think that is what people are thinking about the stock. That's how they're looking at it. That's how they're thinking about playing it. And that's also one of the reasons the stock continues to pick up steam to the downside. But after the tax selling is done, the next thing we have to worry about is Elon Musk going to sell more shares to finance Twitter? But again, I think that's going to be a very short-term issue. If he sells more shares to finance Twitter, the moment he finds a CEO to support Twitter and find other investors in Twitter, then he can pull that money back out and invest back in Twitter, which may be a pimp move, but I'll share that for another video. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? The technical levels that I broke down on Tesla, did that help you? Did that help you see something that you may not have seen before? Let me know in the comments. And then when do you think Tesla is a buy? Is it a buy right here, right now? Or do we need to see some type of technical bounce or at least to see this thing stabilize? I want to hear from you in the comments. I'm signing off saying, remember, you never go broke taking a profit. Next time you got a huge profit in a stock like Tesla, ring the cash register.